Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ambassador Inam, Senator Mushahid, Ambassador Masood, Farzana Saiba, and distinguished audience. It's not an address, let me put it at the outset. It's just 5 minutes to frame what this issue is and to showcase by way of output of a research institute as to what are the atrocities that were committed and what is the nature of this revocation. 5th August 2019 was a veritable repudiation of all international law and UN Security Council resolutions, and a veritable assault on the identity of Kashmiris. It was a demographic assault, it was a sociological assault, it was a political assault. And Pakistan's case rests on UN Security Council resolutions. And Article 370 was a temporary arrangement according to the Indian constitutionalists, and that was a sop to the sensibilities of Sheikh Abdullah and his like-minded political leaders who had a soft corner for India. And a semblance of autonomy was accorded, and the Constituent Assembly itself, it validated this, and that Constituent Assembly later on was abrogated. It abolished itself after it had established its own constitution. Sheikh Abdullah, which had great hopes, he was eventually incarcerated in 1953. And in 1957, the Constituent Assembly abolished itself. And this Article 370 attained a degree of finality according to some constitutionalists. But slowly, the process of nibbling away started. And till 80s, 17 orders and 268 rules were added, statutes were added, diluting the whole concept of 370. In 1965, there was a major change in which the Sadr-e-Riyasat flag and other symbols, they were done away with. And the status was changed, and for the first time, the word state of Jammu and Kashmir as a constituent unit was added to the Indian Constitution and part of Article 370. And after that, that was a slow erosion of the identity and constitutional provisions. So much so that Article 367, subclause 2 was added, and that was added very slyly in order to ensure that the president's orders are equated with the legislations of the respective state legislatures. So very slowly, very deviously, bit by bit, they started nibbling on a semblance of autonomy that was granted as per Article 370. And ultimately, the dream of RSS, its forebears Jan Sangh in 1948 had said that we believe in the trifurcation of the valley and we wish to convert Jammu into a separate state. And their contention was opposed by then Prime Minister Nehru, who said that this would ultimately give a lot of ballast to the narrative of pro-independence Kashmiris. So don't do that. But ultimately, on 5th August 2019, this concept was implemented brazenly in violation of all international law and own constitution. And the tragedy is that the same thing was validated by Indian Supreme Court on the grounds that this is a temporary provision and the Indian Constitution's provisions can be extended to state of Jammu and Kashmir. So whatever semblance of autonomy was there was also done away with. So let us look at this quotation that is flashed in front of you. Nehru, he said that why should they live in a country where Jan Sangha and Rashtriya Swamak Singh are constantly beleaguering them? They will go elsewhere and not stay with us. Look at Mehbooba Mufti's statement. If Article 370 is abolished, then India will be to Kashmir what Israel is to Palestine. A very interesting quote from Andrew Roberts in Eminent Churchillians, a very important book which I recommend each one of you to read. The Indian troops had moved into Kashmir before the tribesmen crossed the border, which shows that the instrument of accession was a hoax. Stanley Wolpert says that the instrument of accession was signed by the Maharaja after occupation of the Srinagar airfield by the one Sikh regiment which was airlifted illegally. Alistair Lamb has this to say: since Maharaja was on the run and a journey of 350 kilometers, there was no way he could have signed an instrument of accession on 26th of October as claimed by the Indians. Now these are very, very conservative figures that I'm showing, because there are other figures also available, but we being a think tank can only show those figures which are validated through sources. 350, these domicile certificates have not only been issued but implemented to the non-subject Kashmiris, altering the whole demographic pattern. They're talking of some.
I think 350,000 is not a correct figure. Give me the proof. So, आपके अपने जो आपने hand out किया है, इसमें 4.1 million है, 6 million. मेरा ख्याल है कि जो हमने it is 4.1 million. जी मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि जो यहाँ मैंने आपका हैंड आउट देखा है उसमें जो है 6 मिलियन का फिगर है, और जो वैसे जो वेरीफाई होती है इंडियन सोर्सेज से, इंडिपेंडेंट सोर्सेज से, इट्स 4.1 मिलियन, नॉट 300. फिगर ठीक नहीं. दिस इज नॉट
We will
और उसके अलावा 2 मिलियन तो नॉन कश्मीरी द वोटर्स लिस्ट भी ऐड किए हैं. सो दिस इज आई थिंक फैक्चुअली करेक्ट कर रहे हैं
सर. इसको चूंकि ये वो फिगर्स हैं जो कि एक्चुअली उन्होंने अभी लेटली पोस्ट 2019 एंड वो फिगर्स हैं जो 4.1 है, वो प्रॉबेबली देयर इज स्टिल लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च गोइंग ऑन, बिकॉज वो पहले भी इट प्री डेट्स 2019 के बाद जो फिगर्स हैं उसमें डेक्कन हेरल्ड्स के मुताबिक लास्ट 2 years में 83,000 हुए हैं, और उससे पहले इंक्लूड करें तो दिस फिगर अपीयर्स टू बी अ लिटिल क्रेडिबल, क्योंकि पूरी आबादी 12.5 है उसकी कश्मीर की, तो उसमें अगर 6 मिलियन तो कोई वो नहीं. 2 is also 2 मैं कह रहा हूँ कि वो दे हैव स्टार्टेड द प्रोसेस, बट दिस 350 हैज़ बीन एक्चुअली एक्चुअलाइज्ड, बिकॉज उधर रूल्स हैं विच आई एम शोइंग, दे आर लेजिस्लेटिंग स्टिल, एंड उन रूल्स के बेसिस पे दे आर ग्रांटिंग क्विकली. तो ये जो अभी फिगर आप सामने सब्जेक्ट टू वेरिफिकेशन, ये सर वो फिगर्स हैं जो कि अगेन वेरी कंजर्वेटिव, बट टोटल किलिंग्स पोस्ट 2019 96,388, incarcerations 27,000, pellet gun casualties 2030. Total kill, yes. True. But these other figures, incarcerations or violation of women, etc., these are post to उसके. ये वो laws हैं सर जो 2019 के बाद they have steadily introduced to encroach upon the identity. UAPA, Jammu and Kashmir Reorg Act, and most importantly ये दो जो हैं, this is Development Act and Land Rules Act. इसके मुताबिक they can take away any land for security purposes. अभी वो CRPF को ये lately उन्होंने वो दिया, और इसके मुताबिक they can cancel the lease, and there's another information that they can take away the power of NOC also now. Now NOC previously used to be by the central government, now previously by the state, now it's by the central government. Election irregularities, they increased total assembly seats from 83 to 90, और जम्मू रीजन जो 48% है, 44% population wise, it has got 48% of seats, 6 seats. जम्मू एंड कश्मीर जो स्टेट है जिसमें उसकी आबादी का तनासब इज़ मोर, has only got one seat. Now, according to Genocide Watch, there are 10 stages of genocide and they are already into their 9th stage. So, which can be debated by international lawyers, but this is what they are doing slowly by snatching away their identity, incarcerations, killings, depopulations. And this is something that the world community needs to take notice of. Now, there's another figure that we have got since the illegal annexation. There's a much song and dance that Indians make of economic progress, tourism, which came a cropper because of this Pahalgam attack. But this $9 billion US dollars is in concrete, tangible economic damage that the state has suffered ever since this 370 was revoked. Last, very interesting quote, Arundhati Roy. You have blinded all of us, every one of us, with your pellet guns, but you will still have eyes to see what you have done to us. You are not destroying us, you are constructing us. It's yourselves that you are destroying. So this is a message for Indians. The brazen violation of international law. International law has to go back. And we should keep knocking on the conscience of international community to ensure that Indians do not wriggle out of their commitments that they made to international community multiple times. And those are alive as living embodiment of Indian commitment, international community's involvement in the shape of UN Security Council resolutions 3947. And Indian excuse that demilitarization quantum, style, plan was an impediment to holding of plebiscite was also a hoax because the UN resolution 1996 in 1951 clearly laid out directions for both countries to evolve a plan for demilitarization and ensure that the plebiscite is held. Pakistan held its end of the bargain. India resiled from its commitments. So I'll stop here and let my worthy distinguished visitors enlighten us on this very important issue. Thank you, Mohammed.